and your children is 75% more likely to get searched, stripped search. Now, Rico, can you know, I don't know if I'm going the right narrative with this for yourself, but what is a strip search? Because after these stats have hit me, we can easily just go, oh, it's just a pat down. You know what I mean? Pat down. You got no weapons. Let me check your wallet. Because we think about the airport, and now this is now me being real with you. A lot of us feel that it's just a little airport strip off, whatever they're still. We don't look at, you know, when you watch the prisoner films and they take the man to the bottom and you know what I mean, and they say, Ben, obviously it might not be that far, but you know what I mean? It
is to that. That's what I was about to say.
Please, no. This is my ignorance now, guys. I'm vexed without these stats now, Rico.
Yeah.
Let's bring context to what a strip search is.
Affinity Xtra. Be extra.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and do not necessarily represent the views of Affinity Xtra.
Ba-bam, ba-bam, bam.
Okay, guys, that's the sounds of Rico just tuning us in. Right, so guys, you haven't seen Rico for a few weeks now. But either way, I thought I'll teeth him for my Edge show before he goes back into show after show. But before we go into what we're going to discuss today, Weeks, just give a little insight from me in terms of how you're finding doing some of the subjects that you're doing and the feedback that you're getting on your show. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You know what I'm saying? The Love in Action show. You know what I'm saying? It's a Love in Action podcast, guys. You know, from the last time I spoke to Rico on the Edge show, we just, you know, it shows how God's great. You know what I'm saying? Why I'm introducing this? Because, you know, it just shows you, you know, how God can birth something. I just said to Rico, grabbed him up, said, listen, Rico, can we just talk about something? We talked about it, saw the feedback. We got some ideas, but a few people that you knew, and next week, you know, people are like mesmerized by the content, by the conversations that have not just been about gun crime, you know what I mean? Because I know everyone, you might know Rico just about crime and such, but you talked about a number of different issues as well.
That's right.
So how you just on a quick few minutes, how are you finding the whole Love in Action and the victory?
Roger, I'm absolutely having a blast. I'll be honest with you. You know, I sometimes go home and have to pinch myself because, you know, it's like, you know, anybody that really knows me, you know what I mean? I'm a man, put me behind a microphone in a dance hall or, you know, on stage, it's over. Because I know I've got that gift to do that. You get me?
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the public thing, like, you know, on like a podcast, sitting in front of, you know, a camera and it's a different thing. But, you know, I've just, you know, thanks for you anyway. You know, you called me to come and talk about an issue off the hook. No rehearsal, no nothing.
Yeah, straight.
And it just blew up. And, you know, I've had some real good conversation. The feedback is really what gets to me because I get people saying, you know what, wow, thank you so much. You know, really encourage me. Especially like when we do the victory ones, I get like pastors saying, Rico, I send it off to my youths, them and that.
Good.
And they're loving it. They say they love the way you just break down the things so simple.
Yeah, man.
So I give God thanks for that. And then when we talk about the issues like, you know, marriages, we talked about the issues that young people are dealing with. You know, we've had different conversations. I've had my good brethren, Noel, who, you know, had drug addiction and, you know, showed how God delivered him. I've had somebody that can't see, but yet is more active than people who can see. I've had a lady that, you know, come from a war-torn, you know, zone country and, you know, wrote her own book. You know, so it's been amazing. And the thing is, I've got some amazing interviews lined up. So, you know, stay tuned, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's going to be great.
No, 100%. And I really do appreciate these content because I do feel that, you know, we all got like different perspectives, different hearts, different, you know, different voices, different things we pick out of different situations because of our life experience. My life experience is different to Rico's, you know, and so I will see things in a slightly different light, you know, but it's not that our light is not different. It's just that I'd see things in the light because of my upbringing, you know what I'm saying? True. You know, so where Rico might just, you know, he might walk hands off smiling and jumping up and down like, this is normal to me, but maybe for someone like myself who's not going up hands off, I'm looking left and right and nervous, not realizing realizing that subconscious. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
and people might think, oh, what are you about? Because certain paths I haven't trodden on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And plus because being a total church boy, you know, what I mean, we both been grew up in Sunday school, but you know, Rico, did, you know, I don't like using the phrase "did time on road," but you know what I mean. You
I grew up on
you
road.
know what I'm saying? So you know,
yeah.
even though you know, so you have both sides of the spectrum from a life experience perspective instead of a second-hand perspective, and you're forever involved within young people ministry, and it's great as we do get
And
old.
I think, well, when you're talking on that point there, what comes to mind is when you look at like Peter. Peter was like a fisherman by trade. You get me? So he's coming from a total different kind of lifestyle to where Christ was bringing him to. You understand me? Although now he became fishers of men, which you understood the principle was the same way you have to go catch fish and you have to be a master bait. You have to have the right bait to catch the fish. So that means then, you know, he was saying to Peter, really then, Peter, I'm going to teach you the skill how to catch fish, humans, you know what I mean, to know me. And then you got people like Paul now that was totally, you know, hierarchy, murder of the church.
Antichrist, man.
Antichrist,
yeah,
maximum.
Man.
You get me? And yet again, became, you know, a great apostle. So I think God handpicks people from different backgrounds because in the world that we live in, we used to have a tune when we used to play upon the sound, you know, all kind of people come and dance. You get me? And that's the fact, you know, all kind of people come and dance. So in the world, there's all kinds of people. So God wouldn't just have one narrative to describe who he is and what he is. He's going to have many narratives because he knows there are many different kind of people that make up the beautiful world that we live in.
Amen.
So
Amen.
what I might do in the way I speak about my Lord and the people I speak to is because I'm a God has customized me to speak to that generation, that mindset of people. But then you now is going to call you to speak to the people that you now would be comfortable in that. You understand me? So that's how I've always.
And the beauty of it, man. Yeah, beauty. We can't do all people. We're all different flavors, man. And it's what I love about the station. I love about the different flavors of music which people love. I love to love the flavors and what we're trying to do here. But the thing is, affinity is all different types of people for a common cause, and the common cause is Jesus Christ. And this is how this is what we got affinity in. Affinity is Christ, and this is what we're trying to push out there. Now, I got up on Monday, guys. You know when you got to get at the wrong side of the bed. You get at the wrong side of the bed, and then you open up your phone. Man United just lost to Brighton, so I'm already on the edge, placing pure drama, and then I get a child Q kind of. The article came out with the BBC. About child Q. Rico we just read the article that's on the BBC website, and obviously this is another situation which we're not talking about now. I'm from the church, and Rico, it's breaking my heart to bits how the church is ignoring what's happening to our people. Now, I've been told I'm being indoctrinated by Black Lives Matter. I've been because I'm focusing too much on this, and we need to focus on the world to come. And not by white Christians, by Black Christian. You know what I'm saying? We need to focus on the world to come and not to focus on these matters. And I feel that is something that I feel that I get a lot with Black Christians, which then allows the comfortability of white Christians in church thinking that things are not that bad. So the end of the day still, they'll only judge it if things are that bad. So why aren't you saying anything? Effectively, you know what I'm saying? You know, so sometimes we can go on to white Christians and say, they don't do nothing, they don't say nothing, they don't support us. But if we don't go, ouch, you've stepped on my toe. Yeah? You know what I'm saying? How on earth do they know they're stepping on your toe?
Come on.
But too often, I find, as Black Christians within the church in the UK, we grin and bear it.
Yeah.
That autopilot.
It's kind of like a suffer in silence mentality. Suffer in silence mentality.
And what the person said to me, Christ said there's going to be suffering on earth. So it's almost justifying that black people will face harsher suffering than everybody else. But that's what Christ said. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So for me, I want to, you know what I mean? And the joke is, I know there's when black people look at the church, that's what they see us as people that don't care about the suffering that we're facing on a day-to-day basis. But what's happening now, right underneath people's noses, is the suffering while they think their children are protected, their children and their grandchildren are now facing the suffering which they thought is pretending like it's not there. When your grandchildren don't want to come to church, when your children don't want to come to church, it's because you're not relevant, you're not listening to them, you're not understanding what they're saying. Now that's my angle. Now, we have a situation called Child Q that happened up in I believe it was last year, you know what I mean? Yeah. Which was absolutely appalling. I've seen videos of the likes of the Kemi lady who banned, I could call her Kemi lady, you know, that the Nigerian woman that tried to become prime minister, She was one of the ones that were saying, back off. You know what I'm saying? Stop making this bigger than what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But for me, it was a lot of people are like, oh, you're going down the wrong road. Let's not overfledge it. This is a one-off situation. So now they've done this report. And for me, these reports now should be on the tables of whether you're black, white, or Asian. Christians, pastors should be going to them. What are we doing in the schools about this? Yeah, should be questioning the education system, people, because we got a lot. Because we do good, we have that thing for people in our hearts. You find a lot of teachers, police officers, nurses in the church. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A lot of us in care, we run care homes.
Yes.
So isn't it a pastor's duty to go, listen, there's nothing I can do, but what I can do is ask you, what are we doing? How can I help? How can we educate? What can I do? You know what I mean? What the professionals. So the reports come out, guys, yeah? And these are stats and facts, yeah? So they're saying that the stripped search.
That's right.
Not pat down. Strip search is not a pat down, is it?
No.
So why I'm asking Rico, because I haven't been personally strip searched myself, and I haven't been around. I don't talk to many people that's been strip searched. So Rico, because of his field, he's been around so strip search. We sometimes think of a bouncer doing this. He's got no. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He's got no gun on him, so it's good now.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, 650. Now, Rico is going to go into scenarios of strip searching in a bit, so you understand the context and the violation of a strip search. I'm not saying police, you can't do strip searches, but we'll get to that. 650 strip searches were done from 2018 to 2020. Yeah. Amongst a quarter took place without an appropriate adult present. Now, what does that mean, Rico? That means without the parents or guardian. You know what I'm saying? If you care, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to make sure the one of the carers are there before you strip search the person.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, that's.
Well, I can say that is a fact, because when some of the youths that we worked with on road, you would get a call from either the care home where they were, or from the police themselves, saying that we have an individual that we know you work with, and we need to do a strip search, but because of his age, we need you to come down as a guardian.
Yeah.
So this could be sometimes 11 o'clock in the night or whatever. You get me? But I would say, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
So we reach down to either Perry Bar or Albury station, and fill in the forms and all that, and then they carry out the strip search with the individual. And then that particular aspect of the operation is over. You get me? But for them to do that with a minor without a parental or guardian present is actually wrong. You're not supposed to be able to do that. So how so many, as you're seeing on this report here, has happened? I just find that quite amazing. Because I'm just being honest with you, if I was to find out that I sent my son or daughter to school, and I found out later on, she comes and tells me that she was strip searched by the police, and no teacher, no police, or nobody in authority told me that was going to happen before it happened. Yo, that there is a problem.
So you know when it says the Met Police, because this was done by the Met Police. Is the Met Police? What area is the Met Police?
Met's normally London.
So guys, this is not Birmingham. This is not Manchester. Metropolitan Police.
Metropolitan, innit? That's like the chief police.
Yeah. So you're talking about this is the. So would you say this is the London area?
It would sound to me very much that way. Because the lady there in the child queue situation was from Hackney.
So the research in London.
Yeah.
So guys, this 650 in London. We're not including the rest of the country.
No.
We're not including Birmingham.
No.
It was not including Manchester.
No.
So now I will be corrected in that. So please, police, if you want to correct me on that one, we'll stand corrected, and we can have the conversation as well. You know, please, we can don't go. We go. Don't want to have the conversation with the commissioner and all that business stuff. No, if we want to be talking about this is great. Again, I want to break down the context. There's 650 children in the London area over a 2-year period between 2018 and 2020 were searched without an adult present, and more than half were searched were black boys. That means black boys who were that were children of African or Afro-Caribbean parentage.
Yeah.
Simple thing. So it'd be Michael, I would say, you know, look like me, Rico, could easily be our children, whatever. That's in all this business and whatever. That's still So that is a major concern. And I know as well, I saw already one report this year, but particularly in one of the years, it reached to 75%.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember I read that it's not in this one here. Let me check. That's it. In 1 year, 2018, 75% of the boys searched were black. So,
that's right.
More than 93% of the children were boys. Because we talk about child Q female, we're not talking about the boys. 50% of the boys were black over the period of time. That's the average. But in 1 year, it spiked to 75% was boys. Rico has boys. I have black boys. You, if you're listening, might have black boys. So you're telling me you could be at work and they can't get food to you, and your children is 75% more likely to get searched, stripped search. Now, Rico, can you know, I don't know if I'm going the right narrative with this for yourself, but what is a strip search? Because after this starts to hit me, we can easily just go, oh, it's just a pat down. You know what I mean? Pat down. You got no weapons. Let me check your wallet. Because we think about the airport, and now this is now me being real with you. A lot of us feel that it's just a little airport strip off, whatever they're still. We don't look at, you know, when you watch the prisoner films and they take the man to the bottom and you know what I mean, and they say, Ben, obviously it might not be that far, but. You know what I mean?
It is to that. That's what I'm saying.
Please, no. This is my ignorance now, guys. Now I'm vexed without these stats now, Rico.
Yeah.
Let's bring context to what a strip search is.
A strip search, I think the intensity of it will depend on
the officers.
The officers, but the actual reason for the strip search.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
For instance, now if it's for the intent that they could be carrying drugs, which 9 out of 10 times that could be the case. Yeah. So the strip search would entail them, you know, parting their cheeks to see that if anything's being concealed, such forth.
Okay, the cheeks are not the cheeks that you in. It's not parting.
No. We're not talking.
We're not talking about
the bottom cheeks.
So to get to the bottom cheek, bro. That means that
you have to bend over. You have to bend over.
And
strip search means remove your clothes. That's what it means. It
all your
doesn't
clothes.
Of course, because they have to make sure. They have to make sure that you are not concealing whatever it is they presume that they're looking for.
So hold a second. So when I'm watching, because I watch a lot of prisoner films, you know, I just watch the Blackbird on Apple TV, and when the man had to go to prison, man has to strip search. It's strip off. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's when he, you know, and then he has to bend down and open up his cheeks. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And you tell me that happens to...
Oh yeah,
60.
and then they've got like a metal detector thing as well that you can sit on, and there's a lot of there's different techniques. But the fact is, especially if it's for prison, when you're coming into prison for the first time, you have to go through that strip search, and they have to check that you're not concealing anything, and then they give you the new, I call it new prison clothes to wear, and then you go to your cell. So that happens whether it's a woman prison or a man prison. That's standard. So when it comes to now
doing
the police doing a strip search, it would be based on the reason for it. Like I said, whether it's drugs or it could be a weapon that they have to find out if you've concealed.
Is a weapon probably less because you can't conceal that in your butt cheeks?
No, not so much. If it's a weapon, they will still search you. If they have to strip search you, they will strip search you. But remember, if it's a gun and that, you'd be surprised what people can conceal, I suppose. Well, you know what I mean? But in the line of duty, they have to make sure that they have done a thorough check for whatever it is they're looking for. So depending on what they're looking for will depend on the level of the thoroughness of the check. But a strip search basically just means you ain't got no clothes on. We are searching your clothes as well. And then when they're satisfied, it doesn't take long anyway. If you cooperate, it's not a long thing. Then your clothes are returned, and that particular aspect is over. But they can't do anything further than until they've gone past that particular thing, though. You get me? You know what I mean? Because that's an important factor.
No. So basically, they'll keep you in a particular room. Technically, what they should do is keep in a particular room, officer.
You'd probably be detained if in the times I've been anyway.
But in a children's situation, more likely at schools or whatever.
This is what I'm saying. This is a different. This is a total.
So you're probably kept in the schoolroom. Says right until your appropriate adult comes, we're gonna keep you in this room until you get strip search more time.
Yeah. If it's, like I said, I do find it quite weird but as you said, if in a school situation, for whatever reason, the alarms have gone off that this particular child has got some drugs or something that they think needs to be looked into. Police are informed, police come, but as I said, if they're underage, there is no way that procedure should be carried out without a appropriate adult. You get me? And I find it even more strange that a parent is not informed, even if the parent says, "Well, thank you for letting me know, but for whatever reason, I cannot get there." They still have to find an appropriate adult
to be
there. Because you don't know. All right, then, if that child is being searched, this is just me going off one. If the child's been searched, say it's a female, right? She's being searched, and she feels that along the search, she was being molested in a certain sense or violated in a certain sense. Who's there now to protect her then, to say that happened? Do you understand me? Or who's there to even protect the officer?
You protect because she can make claims and the officer's gone.
Thank you. You understand me? So it's a protective situation for both parties, that while the search is going on, there is a third party that can see clearly that the situation was conducted in the most decent and quick way possible. That's it.
And something that comes to mind as well when you talk about we always look at violations in terms of like a female child and a male officer. We said, you can't touch it there, can't touch it there. But if we actually show these guys, let me be real with you, there's female officers, let's be real, that like women, so they could catch let's be real, it's still, whether it's a female or male officer, there's no, there's two female officers, so it's okay, you can shoot, there you go, go ahead.
That should never be the case.
Because at the end of the day still, it's I think we need to get over the fact that it's always the male versus the female aggressor when it comes to them sort of things. But it should be full stop, whether it's male, female, male, whatever combination that we have. In fact, there needs to be appropriate adult there still, And from what Rico's saying and what I've learned today, actually, because again, Rico, I'm always looking at bouncer type strip searches. Tap. You got nothing on you. I'm looking at airport strip searches and maybe like a scan thing. But your strip search is what the word means, strip search. So if you're comfortable knowing that these stats are flying around, 650 children in 2 years have been Now, guys, there are some bad youths out there. There are some youths in a bad place and need to be searched. But 650 have been searched. Listen, guys, you know, are you thinking, okay, great, you know what I mean? You know, there's some bad youths out there. But the right to show is too many of them without an adult present.
Yeah, that
you know what I'm
is
saying?
quite alarming.
That's a lot. That's not 6, you know. That's not 10 clip-ups, you know, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Alarming.
That shows to you that if the policy should have been there before that, the policy is obviously there before that. You tell me 650 times. My question is, what happens to the officers when they break this rule? Nothing.
No.
Nothing is done. So if after the first time, Rico, that happened in 2018, and it gets reported, the person...
I think,
yeah,
you
go
know,
on, sorry.
But be honest with you, I think what the alarm bells for me is that we'd heard about the child queue.
Yeah.
Yeah? And that was brought up even in Parliament, and it was brought out to the wider world.
Yeah.
And it was shocking to know that a young girl succumbed such ordeal. You get me? Even when she was on her monthly cycle, you know, they still endured, you know, made her endure such things. Now, what I can't understand is how come so many of our young black males have succumbed this particular ordeal, but it's only when it was pushed for the statistics to come out that now we're hearing about it. So what I'm trying to say is,
true.
Where were the black parents then?
Yeah.
How come they never voiced this then? And if they did voice it, why was it not voiced loud enough for the community now to hear? Because maybe if these things had been heard of earlier, the child queue, which is the one what kind of brought it out into the open, maybe would never have happened, because we would have had a better system in place. But it seems to me, and I'm just saying this, it seems to me that all these searches went on, but nothing really, you know, from a parent and community aspect was really done, because I ain't heard about it.
Let's have a look at our communities. Let's challenge within the elements of our communities that should be doing that. Now, if your son was one of that 650, and you come home and your son just told you that he's been strip searched from, what do you do as a parent? Who do you go to as a parent?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Do you go to the local church, complain to your local pastor? You know what I mean? Can you talk to your pastor? You know what I'm saying about it? Now, why I'm saying pastor, because this is a Christian-based channel. You know what I'm saying? And the question is, I'm shouting out to black pastors. What would you say if one of you, or would you say, oh, we'll pray for you? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So what do we do? How do we address? Or do we have people in place for the pastor to go, okay, I have a lawyer that you can talk to and an MP to team you up and to look into this situation. This needs to be highlighted. But the problem with our silence is that 650 cases down, we have child Q because we ignored child one. Child one could have been the start and end of it. And this is our problem when we complicit to say that our struggle is cool. Get over it, move forward. Let's keep moving forward. It's persecution we must face. The problem is you get a traumatized young lady that might have to lean to go into drugs, to go into madness, to go into dark places, all because we move on too easy. As as black people, we accept the persecution. We accept. I don't know if that's going a bit too far with the persecution. We accept these things too. Like I said, I see. Don't get me wrong. If this happens to a white child, I've seen parents stand up and go to that's cleaning out. You know what I'm saying? That's getting sorted at one time. So they got that fear going. If we go that, he's on lawyer, and I'm gonna meet the judge up there, and they have an implication. But they know that they can deal with that youth, knowing that he hasn't got a voice.
And I think as well, let us be real with ourselves as a community, as a black community. We are a very proud people, and we have to understand that that isn't something that we can shy from. When I say we're proud people, we're not like people know our business. That is what I mean. So that's really what I'm talking about. So maybe these issues came out, but the poor parent them now, I said, boy, I don't want nobody knows so my son or my daughter injure them thing there. So they just keep it. You understand me? And that silence then means that nothing now is going to happen about it.
Hence why it was child Q, because no one you want to know exactly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Where if it's John Smith. If it's John Smith from day dot, John Smith, and a picture of John Smith when he was 8 years old, and you're saying, "Yo, this is what
business." Because you see, and I think we've got to get over that rubbish. You get me? Pride isn't something that we should be really holding on to, because when you're saying, you know, nobody know your business, yeah. But then because of that stigma now that we have, that well, I don't want nobody knows so my son got through that. Because it's a funny thing when black people's kids are doing well, they shout from the rooftop, yes, she's in the university, you know, and yes, oh, I'm so proud of her, she's doing good. But when her son's a gangbanger, you're not hearing that. But yet the parent knows her son's a gangbanger, but she's not talking that because she feels embarrassed to tell you that her son's a gangbanger. But what she doesn't understand is your silence is keeping him gangbanging, because if you opened your mouth, there could be people in your circle, in your community that could say, well, you know what?
You can support, send him over to me.
Send him over to me.
Because the thing is, you know, you could have a son, you know, and this is the thing is, you know what I mean? Like I want a football team where I keenly look at young talented footballers to bring them in a situation where there's peer mentoring environment. Because a lot of young boys, you know, that maybe we're dealing with haven't got fathers, and the reason why they get rejected by clubs is because of the lack of discipline in the household. So hence they come over the team and have black men that they look at, that can talk to them and say, yo, youth, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And the quiet and the silent way they deal with us, because the mouth when in the clubs. But parent might have a talented guy who was at Villa Blues, and you see him go off track, but you don't even voice it. Man could have just said to you, yo, talk to Roger, yo, get him over to Roger's team. So because if you can't get through to him, Roger, and it's tell Roger the situation, get him over to football training with Roger, and he could, you know, he could talk to you, and you talk to him instead of being stuck by yourself. Fighting,
your
bro.
battle with yourself.
You're not realizing there's people in the community that are caring for these young these young people out there still out there. And I think that, you know what, we cannot. You know, it's tough because, like you said, the pride is real, bro.
Yeah, it's a real talk, man. It's
real thing. It's a real talk. You know, we talk about pride. Rico's been flagging up in his podcast, pride of men. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the pride of men, but that's led them into really, it can lead them into drugs. You know what I mean? Pride of men that don't talk about the issues in the marriages. You know what I'm saying? The pride of men that are being abused in the relationships. Yo, these things will be flagging up, and there's conversations that happen. You know, we've seen that the highest rate of suicide is within men. Men? You know what I'm saying? Men. Because we don't talk. And when I'm sitting down and you hear women going, come on, man, it's good to talk. and then as a man, you're thinking to yourself, boy, if we chat, you know, you're done, you know, your dance done. You know what I'm saying? You're saying, so we better keep silent, because you won't be saying good talk when I open my mouth. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, this is the real situation. We need to communicate. Go on. So go on.
I mean, saying that, you know, I remember, like, you know, back in the days, you know, when it was down George Street, we used to put on some events called Men to Men. That was one.
Men to Men. Men to Men.
And then we done another one down at George Street. You know what I mean? Men United for Christ. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you know, it was always based, because I always believed this, that men needed to talk. So what I found is when we'd put them events on, you know, we'd bring like certain artists from foreign, sometimes San, Toka, different artists, but we'd bring them, but it wasn't just Christian men would come, you know, circular mans would come too. But then what was the wealth of the thing was that because men could talk, and what I found in those meetings, in that setting, was that the thing that I would think, why only me I struggle with that. You would hear probably another 20, 30, 40 different men. I said, boy, them I go through this. You know what I mean? Or you'd hear like man's what's going struggling with their marriages, then you'd hear a man talk about what he's struggling with his youth then, or what he's struggling with this and what. But when he was isolated, he only thinks it's him one.
Yeah, man.
But now he's in a setting with pure mans now, and man's open now, and man's talking, and man's saying, you mean, I got through that, and it gave man strength, and also,
man.
So I know me one. So again, back to the basic. The thing is that our community need to stop the isolation. COVID done, far as me concerned. You understand me? We can't be isolating ourselves from one another, because when you start to do that, you then open the door for things like this to happen and get they don't get dealt with, or they just go through unnoticed. Because when there are certain issues in our community, and I can tell you as somebody that works in the community, there are some serious, beyond serious if you want to talk, right, issues going on right under our nose in our community with our young girls and with our young men. There are parents at the brink, and there are grandparents at the brink, because everybody is on a thing where they're trying to do their best in the situation. We need to, bring back the community spirit. We need somehow to navigate how we can have a forum where when things are happening in our community, there are places and people that we can go to that can help us to bring a proper result, more than us turning to, say, demonstrating and getting into violence and getting all crazy and mad, because that is real and truly how they kind of view us. When we get upset about something, we don't communicate. We just go and burn down and bun down and turn over cars and then what we do now, we lose the respect of the actual issue that brought us there in the first place. Let us conduct our business differently. Over the years now, we should have learned that the way in which we conduct business probably is not the right way. Let's change the narrative. Let's see how we can now be a more positive community that deal with serious issues in a positive manner. And I'm sure we'll get a more positive result.
No, 1,000%, and definitely, and I think, like you said, shared experiences, and this is where, again, I want to reiterate to Black Christians that are listening into this, or affluent Black people. I always say to them, when I say affluent, people that's not faced some of the things that you see on TV, thinking, oh, guys, ignore it because my life is great. And I sit down with my pops, about it, and he'll be like, but I don't see this, you know what I mean? And it's absolutely totally valid point, but the reality show is it is happening, and we need to have a concern. If we don't have concern, I love the phrase, we're concerned for their soul. It's all about the soul, all about the soul, all about the soul, all about the soul. But the practicality is, guys, you have to deal with the here and now, what people are facing, and face the reality of marginalization. I'm not going to be going with this shows. We can speak all day about why we here, why is Black people we've been marginalized, even why we've been demonized, and all these different things. These are things that have been happening over a number of years, over hundreds of years. But the thing is, as well, let's look at ourselves and what we can do and what we're not doing and what we cannot do. If we are in a Black church setting, what I'm saying, have our ministry set up now, because we don't have Sunday school anymore. Reality shows, Rico, we don't go around the Sunday school van anymore and picking up children. So our Sunday school is not in church anymore. It has to be based outside the churches. You know what I'm saying? Because the kids don't come into Sunday morning service.
But the thing is, Roger, and I remember going to the Rock. They had a meeting. It was like with different organizations. This is a couple of years ago, and I think the question, if I can remember rightly, was what is the church's answer to its community? It was like, okay, how does the church engage with its community? So I went down there, and I remember saying, as far as I'm concerned, when we used to have the Sunday schools, picking up the buses and all that we were investing in the future of our community. Because I had to go to Sunday school. My dad enforced that I went to Sunday school. And when I came back, I had to recite what I learned, blah, blah, blah.
The golden verse.
You understand me? So when I went to senior school, And I saw some different kind of things that I'd never experienced. I still had some grounding of what was right and what was wrong.
Yes,
you understand what I'm saying to you? So
yes.
it was hard for me to get pulled over. But what I'm trying to say is, in a time now where, there's so much influences, especially with our young people, I don't really know much churches to this day has any minibuses. And when you look at the influx of youths that come into church in this day and age, it's very, very, very small. And even if they do, it's because they ain't got no choice not to, because they're too young, so they gotta go with their mom or they gotta go with their dad. But by the time they reach 16, 17, 18, and they're kind of they come if they want to come, or they're not.
Bro, from 8 years old, bro. I've seen children from 8 years old have a choice, bro.
There
And back in there, bro, 8 years old.
There were no choice.
Listen,
No
it's not
choice.
until you're adult, and
better
even when
know
you're
that.
adult, you still have to get home in time to go to church.
Yeah.
Even though you went out, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
if you live under your parents' youth
You
and they were going
abide
to
by
church
their
by
rules.
rules, a simple thing.
Simple.
And it's like I said, the moralistic input that we had, the children not having these days within our community. So you've got a society which youths are, I'm talking to youths that are saying that, when's the last time we been to church? I only got a christening. I'm looking at.
Nah, Roger, you know how dread it is. You know how dread it is. You know how
I'm 15-year-old little black boy, I tell him, and he's talking about, when I get mad, I try to teach you what I go on. I'm thinking, you got no concept of right or wrong, have you?
No. None. And the strange thing is, when you go to the funerals, which unfortunately we've had to go to many with the gun and knife crime issues out there.
Yeah.
And when the young people gather, to pay their respects to their friend and stuff, and they're singing the hymns and that, they don't know the hymns no time at all.
They don't even know what to do with themselves, do
They don't know. And I'm telling you, and if there ain't no good portion of adults at the funeral, you can just literally hear the stones and the dirt hitting the coffin, because there's no singing.
Yeah.
So now they're kind of moving into a new dimension now, where they bring a little jukebox now, and man's just playing music and everything there, and that's to show you though how far
We've gone.
So when our generation and our mom's generation no longer here, you can just imagine then the state of affairs, because the average youth, he doesn't even know hymns, because he's not in a position to hear them hymns. Where's he hearing songs like that?
It's a challenge of how we communicate. This is what I'm saying to you, bro, and this is why we need to always radically evolve and change, and in terms of how we communicate with these people.
Definitely.
And what I will do, guys, in the future as well, I will get a show where I will either myself or I'll push Rico to do a show about searches, because I do think some of the instances in which you brought up that has happened to ship searches. If you can develop a show about that, because I do feel that there's two sides to searches. There's the children need to know that listen, we're looking at 650 searches. That yes, I can moan about the 650 searches, but the reality show is maybe a lot of them are being caused by due, bad. They don't go street twisted. There are some youths that need, you need to do a strip search with, but always saying that's without a parent. Yeah, and sorry, you have to get protocol in place. No matter if the youth to go to prison, there have to be strip search before. We're not going to say, because you're black. No, we're not saying you shouldn't get strip search. What we're saying is inappropriate without an adult.
But
yeah,
the thing
you
is,
cannot do that under 16.
The Metropolitan Police. Yeah, would know that though.
Yeah.
It's not.
This
is not some new founded law. This is something that it's in place long time.
Long
You
time.
get me?
You're talking about
I
probably
just
in the
don't-
late 90s.
That's what I'm saying. I understood the TQ issue. Yeah,
Child Q,
which is the only one, the child Q, which I was again shocked when I heard, considering it was
Shocked.
a girl as
You-
well.
you think it's just a one-off?
But when
Sack
now
the
you're
police?
hearing it's been so many.
Yeah.
Then now you really didn't have to have a conversation now, because you have to kind of look, well, then is this some kind of game then that they just took upon themselves to say we can do what we want because we don't value these people? Is that the real issue in the Metropolitan? Is that what you're really saying? Because we already know that, it was quite clearly stated this year that there was racism within the Metropolitan. So am I just saying then that some of these incidents is just because they know they can't do it, they just did it, and they don't care whether your parent was there or not? What we have to understand is this. It ain't about color. it ain't about race, it's about the law. The law states this is how you're supposed to conduct a particular issue with a minor.
Okay.
And as far as I'm concerned, if, as of from now, any more of these issues are happening and it is done without appropriate adult supervision, then there should be serious issues dealt with this, because really and truly, it's a violation. Because I'm thinking now, if that child, for instance, that got strip searched was a child that, just like the child Q, they found no drugs on her, what kind of trauma have you just left that kid with? You know what I mean? Because, you know, when you're stripping somebody, that is a very intimate, we don't walk around on the roads naked, do we? Nobody does that. And when, some of these excited fans get crazy and strip off and run across the field, you get me? You see how quick people are trying to cover them up, because it's not what we class as a decent way to conduct our lives. That's indecency.
Yeah.
So when you're telling a child to strip off and he don't know you, that's a very, it's a very strange situation to put a child, I think, in. And that's why I suppose they put an adult or a parent that they do know, just to make them feel a bit better about the situation. You understand me? So that is what I'm trying to say. You don't even know what they've said to the child while they're stripping that child. You understand me? And all the kind of different things. That's why I'm saying it's important that this is in place, because it protects the police who's doing their job, but it also protects the child. And that is important, because I'm just being honest, bro. If my child ever came and told me that happened to them, you would definitely...
It wouldn't be your daughter there, bro. If you did, but I don't say half a
listen, it's an issue. It's going to be an issue. I'm shouting that from the rooftop. I don't care what people think. I'm protecting other children from it. And that's what I'm trying to say with us black people, right? When you're there, my child never this, my child, forget the crap. You don't know what your son's doing. You don't know what your daughter's doing. Be honest, because when you're not honest with the situation, you're opening the door, for more children to fall into that trap. But when you're honest with the situation, you know what you're doing now? You're making other parents aware that, look, if your child's going on with this, this is what's going to happen. He's going to get murdered off, or he's going to jail. But when you're keeping it quiet, you're actually you're closing the door for that to happen to more children, because everybody's parents think it's just them one going through this thing. Forget the rubbish. We know what's going on, and we have the ability to change it if we are willing to be honest with each other and willing to accept the help from each other, instead of going on like, I don't want nobody to know my business. I don't want nobody to come help me. Blah, blah, blah. Listen to me. The same woman who's going on like, her doo-doo don't smell, is going through the same hell that you're going through. The only difference is she's not telling you, because she thinks she's too nice to tell you that her son is probably boxing her down in the yard. You understand me? So forget the rubbish. Let's get to a point now where we can be real and say, you know what, I need help. I can't deal with this on my own. Because the system is there to help, but I can tell you this, it's not always going to be the way you want it.
So, Rico, something you said in the podcast before as well. I think the last time we did a podcast on the Red Edge show, myself and Rico, so Rico said something, and I think it's important. It's like, also we have to be aware of our skin tone, and how we conduct ourselves with officials. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So what can easily happen? We have our mouthy picnic. Yeah, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Mouthy, and I put themselves in a situation of, okay, you've put yourself now into a strip search situation. Now, I'm not justifying the police and what they've done here. You know what tip I'm on anyway, still, people there. But I'm just critically looking at this as well. How many of his children have put themselves in this situation because of their behavior at school? And how when the officers come in and they said, can we check your bag? From when you're not refusing this and you're kicking off and you're dashing the bag after them, they go, okay, if you want some of this, we're going to do this and do that. And it's more of a response to how you respond. How do you conduct yourself? And don't watch how other children operate themselves. Because, I grew up in a white school area. I couldn't talk to police like my white friends talk to police. And so I'm not saying you're meant to be a walkover. What I'm saying is, from young, you need to teach your children how to communicate, conduct themselves in front of adults. So when you cheese off the headmaster and he says, I'm going to call the police, you mess up your teacher, you said you're not going to check your back. From when you're operating like that, and then they're going to say, I'm calling police, and you go, I mean, I don't care. And then all of a sudden it escalates to this. I'm not saying that it's justified what happened to Child Q or any of his children. No. I'm just giving you a different perspective of it's called de-escalation. Do we pass on de-escalation skills, or are we quick to just kick off and say certain things? So this video is not about us kicking off and raising Child Q and teaching our children to raise up. We need to know how we communicate and teach our children how to communicate to adults.
Very important.
When they're communicating the schools, they don't go in there like they own the place.
No.
Because a lot of this is like, oh, you think you're bad? All right, let me tell you who's bad. I'm gonna call the feds. Oh, if you can't call no police officer on me, and then next minute, feds will come down. They say you can't touch me. Court can't get free to your mum. Okay, you're getting two-faced. They lock the door. Boom, and then it's your mouth forgot you there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if that's
real issue.
So I'm not saying that's every case, but let's be real. Let's flip it. Let's flip it on the coin and look at how we communicating to officials.
The communication, we're living in a world where communication is on another level. As I said to my kids, when I used to want to go and check my brethren, I have to walk on my yard, knock him door. Only to hear his mum say, he's gone out, Yeah. Because I ain't got no mobile phone to contact him, to tell him I'm coming down there. Or no email, I can email him or text him or whatever. Them things, they never exist. You understand me? You're in a time now where you can make a phone call and you can arrange whatever you need to arrange. So communication is on another level. But yet, it seems as though my generation communicated better than the generation that has more ability to communicate.
Oh, mate.
And I find that quite strange because let me tell you something, and I've said this and I'll say it again. Manners will carry you where other things can't. Let me tell you that. Sometimes you can have nothing, but can you have manners? Manners get you through. That's what they say. Manners will get you through in life. You see, when you're going mouthing off to teachers, mouthing off to your parents, mouthing off to people in authority, you may feel among your peers that, man, I'm cool, I'm a bad man, I'm a bad girl, nobody can't talk to me. But really and truly, you know what? You're just going to end up on the heap of nothingness because nobody will have time for you and your foolishness. I'm telling you that straight. And it won't be long before your mouth gets you either into prison or your mouth gets you killed. That's the truth of the reality, and that's what we're living in. But if you learn how to conduct, and it starts at home, if you can't talk to your mom with respect, how then can you go and talk to people on the road with respect when you're effing and blinding to your own parents? And parents, how can you accept your daughter or son to speak to you in that manner anyway? Because yes, some of the sons are bigger than their moms and their dads even for that matter, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to succumb to that kind of foolishness. Because if I succumb to it, what I'm actually subconsciously saying to my child, it's all right. And if he's all right cussing you from A to Z, why then isn't he going to feel comfortable cussing the teacher, the police, the judge, and everybody else along his life? His girlfriend, his whoever, because he's got accustomed to he can do what he wants. No. Don't think that because you need to be his friend. You're not his friend, the parents, please. And I'm going to be bringing somebody on my show very soon who wrote a book about raising children in 2020s. Yeah?
All right.
Because the old way in raising children can't work. We have to have a new attitude. We have to have a new way of dealing with our kids. I'm telling you, you've got to learn to start from them little. From it's the little, the go off line from them little. You have to bring them back in line. Because you see, when they reach 16, some of them probably even longer than that, but at least by 16, you can't go and try and tell him to reevaluate his life because he's already set in his ways now. It's about his business. He don't even want to listen to you. So let me tell you as parents, let's stop trying to be friends with our children and let's be parents. And if you don't know how to be parents, let's find Google and different ways to learn how to be a good parent. You understand? But communication, children, You cannot go to a police officer and rail upon him and expect that nothing's going to happen. That's just madness, Merchant. And you're absolutely out of your mind. You've got a better way of getting through. If when he calls you, you say, yes, officer, and you talk to him politely. If he's talking to you impolitely, doesn't mean that you have to respond back to him, because he could be just winding you up, because he knows, especially us black people, if I press the right button, he's just going to react. Yeah? So he knows his worked you out. So he knows that, you know, if I say this to him, he's gonna kick off, and then we'll put him in the van. Yeah. So he says it, and then you react, he just laughs, put you in the van.
Simple.
All you've got to do is mark his number, and when you've done what you got to do, you just make a report. Say that this police officer stopped me, and this is what he said to me. Yeah. You understand me? But if you go and react to his, you know, way of conducting himself, all you've done is open the door for what he wanted to do in the first place, which is to put you in the van. Yeah. So to avoid all that nonsense, calm. I know it's hard because everybody's on this tip now, innit? Where everybody's got to be somebody. You know what I mean? Everybody's got to be somebody. So now I can't afford not even the police officer to disrespect me or to violate me. If he does that, I'm going to light him up. I'm going to do something like that. Well, yeah, you can. It's in your power to do it. But how far are you going to go? You'll be in jail, mate.
Yeah, man.
You'll be in jail. And you didn't need to be.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to carry on like that. Your pressure, the peer pressure might make you think you need to. But really deep down, you know you don't need to carry on like that. Freedom is important. Let me tell you, young people, freedom is important, and your life is more important, because without life, there ain't no freedom. Yeah. You just remember that. So when you're dead, there ain't nothing going on for you. So what's the most important thing in your life? Your car, your money, your phone, your girl, your drugs, your drink, your partying? No, your life.
Amen.
So anything you do that puts your life in danger, stop it. Simple thing.
Yeah, man. Because you put yourself, and you know, when I watch so many times these riots, you know, not riots, these protests, and you're seeing people literally in the officers' faces. The riot police got a baton in their hand, bro. They got a gun in their pocket, and you're there in their face, literally spitting up in their face and going, "You." I'm thinking, that guy's a human being. He's shouting out like that, you know what I mean? You're trying to trigger the guy off, you know what I'm saying? And then when you get clap up, you on a report like this. And when you look at the video, you go, hold a second. So if you didn't do that,
that wouldn't have happened.
That wouldn't happen. So sometimes, you know, guys, you have to be real about this. But today's subject, guys, is really just about for us to highlight this, to have a look at what we can do. And a shout out to people to realize that this is happening to this day, and we will be doing a show. And I said we, hint to Rico. He's going to find that on his list. But we'll be looking at, you know what I'm saying, and to get professionals in to talk about searches, what strip shirts you could do, what your rights are, how to conduct yourself around a person, and the effects of having children that have got siblings. That have or even partner or husband or wife that's gone off the radar, and you're in church. Nobody knows you got criminalization going in your household or your family, and it's affecting you by searches and all these sort of things. But you're too shame, Rico, to bring it up in women's meeting.
You see, you know,
that's a crazy one, boy. You're too shame.
I've had the privilege, man.
You're struggling.
I have had the privilege, thank God. You know, I've had the privilege to kind of like see behind the curtain, I suppose. You get me? And what I realized was that although you're working with the youth, it's the whole household. Because if the youth's off the rails, it affects his nan, who he lives with, or it affects his mom. And if it's some of them, their mom and dad. You get me? Because their behavior brings drama to the door. You understand me? So when the police are coming to that address, even though mom, dad lives there or nan lives there, when they come in 10, 12 strong to arrest or to do a search for firearms or whatever, it's affecting the parents that have got nothing at all to do with this particular lifestyle. So it's not like then the attitude of the young person is only affecting the young person. No, it affects the whole household, and then also it affects the community because everything, you know, it's a spiral effect. What I'm trying to say, and I've been trying to say this for so long, is that one, the church needs to really kind of realize that there is more work for us to do outside the church walls. Yeah, I know that going into church and doing church, is important. But the real work in 2022 and beyond is going to be outside the church, because we are losing our young people. Yeah. Not only within the violence amongst themselves and within the sexual promiscuity within themselves and all the drugs within themselves, we're also losing them. Yeah, on a social level. There's no communication with them and us anymore. You know what I mean? And when you break down that particular barrier, you're in a serious position, because without communication, how can you help anybody?
Man.
You know, how many churches since this year has tried to reach out to the very community around where their church is even, and find out who lives in that community? What's the name of these young people that live in my community? I doubt it. I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying I doubt it, because you're more internalized, you're more interested about what's going on inside your church. But yet, God's called us to reach the world.
Come on now.
Your world is around your church.
Come on.
And that's what you need to be doing. And I think if we started, all of us, not just one, all of us took that attitude. I really do believe, with God's grace, one would know what to pray for, because we're going to see bird's eye views of what's really going on. Because I'm telling you, if I was to sit here and tell you what some of the things I know is going on, you'd say, nah, Rico, that can't be. Well, you believe that. I'm telling you it's going on. But the fact is that until we go out there, you're not going to really know. And then when we do know, at least we know what to pray for. And then we know what structures to put in place to help and support. There we go. I'll leave it there.
Amen to that, man. Listen, guys, on that note, still, we leave it there. We do an amazing job with our food banks, but we need to be doing more better in certain other areas as well. You know, we've been just food banks and we've moved away from so many things. But that's a whole other subject in itself, man. You know what I mean, in terms of what we're doing there. Thanks for highlighting that. But thanks for the conversation, Rico, today. Still, and just reiterate, guys. You know what? Still, let the children know. Listen. You know, adults, teachers, if you see a situation that's arising and you see a child in a situation that's under 16 or under 18, I believe it is, and without a consenting adult in a search, it's also your job to say, no, stop right there. We can't do this. Yeah. So we all are here to do our part in the system out here anyway. So and we are totally disgusted with 650 alone in 2 years. That is disgusting. Majority of that is with black people. We only represent 3% of the population, while we over 50%. With 50 times, this is ridiculous, guys. 50 times more likely to be strip searched without. That is ridiculous. We're not criminals. We're just the same as everyone. We have criminals and we have great people. But all it does is sets a lot of youths down the wrong path. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, let's be more vigilant as we're going into coming into a next season of No Pressure on Rico. Actually, he's got bare subjects. He's taking notes of what he has to do here now through this show anyway. So, I need to do this more periodical, do a review of Rico's show. Say, right, Rico, we need to do this. And let him off again still, But do keep us up in the prayers, because it's doing the research, doing the podcast they do take out of you, because you're finding out stuff which you don't know before, and it really hurts, and people communicate, and when you're off stage, people then start to phone you and talk to you. It takes a lot of emotional giving and talking. So do keep us up in our prayers. It's great doing these subjects, but we do need your prayers for strength, for dealing with this as Christians out there. Pastors, we need your support as well. Leadership, if you know me, do communicate to us. We want to be able to support you, to support the community as well around you, man. All right, guys, this is Roger here on Affinity Xtra, celebrating gospel music of Black origin alongside Rico, one of the hosts on Affinity Xtra Crew Nation, and we're here celebrating gospel music of Black origin, but at the same time we keep it real with our community as Christians. Where we at with it, our pains and our loves and our gripes and the positive, the greatness, the badness, and all that we talk from a Christian perspective. Amen. This is here on Affinity Xtra.
God bless you.
Blessings.
Hey, this is your bishop. This is your bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing, and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website, and also check us out on Insta, and wherever you want to find us on Spotify. You can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.